Hi 7th graders, we are doing lesson 2.9, working with powers and exponents. So I can use and evaluate powers and exponents in expressions. You should have your vocabulary sheet out and you should be getting down to just a few vocab words left. Tonight on this video we'll talk about power, base, and exponent, which I'm going to talk about in the next slide. But you can also have your book open to page 126 and 127, and they are talked about on there as well. Okay, so if we have 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, we can see that 2 is being multiplied 4 times, right? So those are a common factor that is being multiplied. So we can write this as 2 to the 4th, which I know that you've done before. So 2 is our base because that is our common factor. That's the number that's being multiplied over and over. 4 is our exponent because that tells us how many times the base is used as a factor or how many times our number is being multiplied by. So 2 is our factor and it's being multiplied 4 times. So we say 2 to the 4th or 2 to the power of 4. So exponent is also the power. Okay, so if we were going to write this at using powers, well, we can see that 1/2 is being multiplied 3 times. So we're going to write it as 1/2 to the 3rd power, and then it's still being multiplied, but then it's 3 to the 4th power. Okay? And sometimes it doesn't say it in the book, but it keeps it nice and organized, and eventually we're going to be rewriting with lots of different powers and lots of different numbers. So I like to rewrite it in order from the greatest power to the least. So we would rewrite this as 3 to the 4th times 1/2 to the 3rd. And the reason I'm putting my fraction into parentheses is because it keeps it nice and neat. And then I can see that all of 1/2 is to the 3rd. Okay, we have variables here, and I can see that a is being multiplied twice. So a squared times b is being multiplied 3 times. Rewrite it in order of powers. B cubed times a squared. When I say order of powers, from greatest power to least. Okay? Take a second and do A, B, and C. A we would write as 2/3 to the 4th times 7 squared. Because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2. Okay, here we have m cubed times n cubed. And then here, if we want to get picky, if we have the same exponents, then we would write our letters in alphabetical order. So m comes before n, so m cubed times n cubed. Okay, so we have a lot going on here. We have 3 squared times a squared times b times 2. Okay? And we could either leave it like this, because we have an order of exponents, or what we can do is we can group together our numbers. So me personally would like to have it as 3 squared times 2. And notice since there's only 1, 2, I don't actually write it with 1 with the first power because 2 to the first power is just 2. So we just leave it as 2. So 3 squared times 2, and then I write my variables in order of exponent number. So 3 squared times 2 times a squared times b. Okay, so this is talking about 0 and negative exponents. So any number to the power of 0 equals 1. as long as the number does not equal 0. So 0 to the 0 power would not be 1, it would be 0. But anything else to the 0 power is 1. So even if it's negative, negative 7 to the 0 is 1. 64 to the 0 power is 1. Anything to the 0 power is 1. Okay? Anything to the negative power, you can see up here, is 1 over that number to the positive power. So for example, we have 7 to the negative 3. So they have it as 1/7 times 1/7 times 1/7, which we know when we multiply fractions, we multiply our numerators and our denominators. 7 times 7 times 7 is 7 cubed. So it'd be 1 over 7 cubed. Okay, so say we have 5 to the negative 2. That would be the same as 1 over 5 squared. And if we wanted to simplify that, or if we wanted to solve it, we know that 5 squared is the same as 5 times 5. So it would be 1 over 25. Okay? Do this one for me. 3 to the negative 3rd power. So it would be 1 over 3 to the 3rd. Well, 3 to the 3rd is 3 times 3 times 3, which is 27. So it would be 1 over 27. Okay, so this is our biggest mistake. If you're looking at 3 squared is not 6. It is not 3 times 2. 3 squared is 3 times 3, because any number to the power is this number over and over, multiplied over and over. So it's actually 9. Okay, and I want to add something else. I'm going to add it right here in a different color. Say we have, since we're talking about 3, negative 3 squared. Well, anything squared just means that this number is multiplied by itself. So it'd be negative 3 times negative 3. Negative times the negative is positive. 3 times 3 is 9. So any negative number squared is going to be positive. Okay? If it was negative 3 cubed, be negative 3 times negative 3, which is 9, but then times that by another negative 3 would be negative 27. Okay, so we can talk more about that in class, but negative numbers to even powers are going to be positive. Negative numbers to odd powers is going to be negative. Okay, so what if we have a fraction that is that has an exponent? Well, 2 to the 3rd, or 2/3 to the 4th, is the same as 2 to the 4th over 3 to the 4th. Okay, and we know that 2 to the 4th is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, which is 16. 2 times 2 is 4 times 2 is 8 times 2 is 16. And then 3 to the 4th is 3 times 3, which is 9, times 3 is 27, times 3 is not 6. Sorry. Shoot. So we have 16 over 81. Hopefully that you were thinking that in your head. Okay, do this one really quick. 3/4 squared. We have 3 squared over 4 squared. So we would have 9 over 16. And that is in simplest form. Okay, if we have 4 to the negative 3, that is the same as 1 over 4 cubed. 4 cubed, 4 times 4 is 16 times 4 is 64. So 4 to the negative third power is 1 over 64. Okay, we have 3 to the negative 2. So it'd be 1 over 3 squared, which equals 1/9. Okay, and we are going to skip that problem. And that is all that I have for tonight. So if you need to go back and rewatch anything, feel free. You can also look in your book on page 126 and 127 and make sure you take 2/9 NICU quiz.